listen, I am a huge proprietor of empathy, right? And I think that we don't really have the understanding of what empathy is. Not you guys. I'm talking about in general. Being able to put yourself in anybody else's shoes. Being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, right? And I feel like a lot of us don't want to do that. We don't want to. A lot of like when you talk to a lot of men and you tell them about that, they're like, "Wow, well, or this is the thing. This is the thing. They start coming up immediately. Thank you. That works too. Yeah, they don't want to put themselves in people's shoes. You know what I mean? Empathy is a lost art. That's emotional intelligence is a lost art. Empathy is a lost. People don't want to put themselves in other people's shoes. They don't want to deal with that. They rather just be like, I don't want to deal with that, right? Or the other thing is, to Terrell's point is another thing is, up until they get a daughter, then all of a sudden, oh no, my daughter, da 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 da. But then, why would you doing that stuff to other people? I don't understand that. So it's okay until it's done to you. And that type of mindset, I just don't get that. Because we all have to live in the world together. This is a community, it's a big community. So it's only okay until, it's not okay until it happens to you. And that, I feel like that's what we need to work on. That's what we need to work on.
Those guilty speaks. Because Buddy was fast until I said the last two things that I said that he was about to lose his shit.
Welcome to 2K Sports for another edition
Hey,
of
they always tell me
basketball. Two of the dominant teams, Greg, out here in the Western Conference.
When you start talking about community,
know each other well.
Men always want to talk about a community when it comes to patriarchy and all of this other stuff, but y'all never want to talk about community when it comes to these type of things, and that's what hurts like the most. It's just y'all want to be community as long as women listen to you, and that's the problem that I literally have. Like,
first good move in a game of chess between these two.
Let's let Aquarius go, then we're gonna get to Tony and then Nico.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that was said. I don't know, I just feel like in America we have to try our best to I don't know, it's just like we always are going to mind each other's business, and that's always going to be our biggest problem. We have to try to get ourselves to a point where we can iron into the next generations, like, man, respect other people's not only boundaries, but privacy in their space, But I just feel like our culture is just too over and sexualized, like if you try to be different than that narrative, it's almost like you just a lame. And I don't know. However I can word it, I do feel like that has to change, but until we make that effort, it's almost like you just on the outside looking in. That's really how I feel.
I want to say this. There has been, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but there's been a concerted effort for change. There's been a concerted effort for change. But just like what he just said, people call you out. So now there's a fight between men that are supposedly simps and men that aren't. So that is the issue right now, is that there are the next generation is different. That's why the next generation is way more like progressive. But there's also a fight to take us back. And that also comes from our community as well. But I digress.
How you respond is half the battle out there.
And I don't want to go back to the past, but the only thing I meant when I said conform is just to like flirting, not to the, everything else. Like, I feel like we talk to each other in an overly sexual way. And, anybody who tries to go against that grain, I feel like they're combated. That's the only reason why I said that. I didn't, intend to put any other confirmation on any other type of mindsets. Anything.
I wasn't putting that on you. I was just making a point. It had nothing to do. I wasn't putting that on you.
No, this is about the past. It's not in response to anything you said.
Problem. How you been, Aquarius?
You said, how have I been? I've been okay. How is everybody on the panel? How are you, Lily?
Good. I'm good. I used to be in your live all the time
Oh, well, I miss you.
with you and Mermaid.
um, yeah. Um, but I hope everybody is having a good day for sure. But yeah, these are the type of conversations that are very triggering and are very personal to each of us all because we all have our own personal stories, that involves this subject. But we need to be able to have these conversations because honestly, like Lily said, people are trying to combat the notion of personal advancement within our own freedoms and our own liberties, especially when it comes to women. Like our class system has been based off of domineering over women, taking ownership over human lives, that tier system. It's like the bosses, they own the workers, and then the workers, they go into their households and they own that household, whether it be they significant other or their children. So I feel like when we talking about things of this nature, we really breaking down societal barriers. That is very touchy for a lot of people. And that's what I was saying. Like we are in the big melting pot. We are in a culture that is made up of many, many, many different subcultures. That's made up of many different races, many different religions, many different subcultures. Like many different cultures in of themselves. So when you say things like, or when you have these type of conversations, you have so many different ideologies that's being combated and clashed with each other and that are of opposing natures. But in order for us all to survive as well as thrive in this country and be able to be comfortable, be able to, live in our own skin, be able to be happy and comfortable and, you know, um, just feel secure. Like women should be able to feel secure every day within their lives. They shouldn't go outside and have to be walking on, pins and needles, feeling like something may happen. That's a very disturbing and disgusting reality that we live in. And, you know, um, I would really love to be in spaces that create solutions, creates ideologies that we can take and apply to our real lives and move forward with those type of solution based lives.
I'm happy to hear a young man like talk like that because like I really feel like we need that, right? And I feel like we do have it, but like I said, there's a concerted effort to stop that. And we are, I mean, as much as we like to believe that we're not, we are in a class system. We have to really start. I feel like I feel like a lot of times America is in a land of delusion. Yes, this is one of the most amazing countries, but at the end of the day, it's also a very oppressive system. And it's been for many people, it's been an oppressive system to women. We got to stop with this. There's this concerted effort right now also as well to make more black people become more conservative. And it's like, I understand it's okay. You can be whoever you want or whatever you believe. But I feel like it's really a concerted effort right now to literally target black people and to be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? These issues, you feel this way about this. You should feel this way about this. You should feel this way about women, women's rights and all this stuff. And I just really feel like that's really crazy right now, the fight that we're in. And when I see people standing back and being like, oh, I'm not in the fight right now, I'm not in the fight. Most thought leaders, you know what I'm saying, most people like MLK and Malcolm X and Coretta Scott King and Rosa Parks, all these people always say that freedom is always going to have to be fought for, right? Freedom is always something that we're going to have to actively be fighting for. Now, does that mean that you have to wake up every day and think about all of this? No. But I'm saying ain't going to fight no war.
Randall kicks to Conley.
It's over with. I ain't going to fight
McDaniels gets a
nothing.
wide open look. Drains it from beyond the arc.
How about you
Yeah, that's a
volunteer?
good
You like a
sign for
strong black
McDaniels.
king
They
that's going to
need him
stand
to
on
shoot
business.
with
I'm strong.
confidence.
God given the directions.
I ain't going to work for scissors I never asked for on my
Daniels from
mama.
outside. Another three for Golden State.
Those teams running perimeter-oriented plays
On my
that are
soul.
working.
I would have been cool being the only child. I just said that earlier. Sorry.
If your sibling
shooting a steady
robbed the
diet
bank
from outside.
and you the older
No
sibling,
one
it's up
here,
to you to
Edwards,
take
as
that
he
phone.
lets it fly.
I
To answer back, but that three is off the mark. Pass to Daniels.
But what did you do?
Some nice passing by Golden State.
Y'all serious?
All I'm saying is this.
Absolutely.
In this country, like your
Myself in
brothers
that
and sisters.
position for assistance I never asked for. You asking us, we have a choice.
That's
It's
crazy.
time to go. You gotta go to Iran. You gotta do what you gotta do if that's what they need.
I ain't going no island for no one. Why would I do that? Look at the way veterans, look at the way veterans from World War II have been treated in society.
What's up?
Hey, thank you for letting me up, dog. I just want to say when the war, God forbid, the war does happen, but Trump doesn't play by the rules, he will have the draft, and this is what I've been hearing with my sources, bro. And I'm personally, I'm a veteran, and I'm gonna just say when God forbid mass casualty does happen, which is means a lot of people are gonna be deleted. They just like in Ukraine. They will force females. They will force every civilian, every country,
Yes, they
especially
will.
women, to go to war. So I just want to say, all you want. Trump did something yesterday. Trump did something yesterday that will not end. That chemical that's in the air that he pew, and it's in the air now. It's going to ruin the water. It's going to ruin the air. And he had to do it there. If not, it would have been shot. It would have been pewed in the air over here or in Israel. So thank God it's glassed over there. But God, our days are numbered, and that's why he said, God bless America and our troops. And we are not promised tomorrow at this moment. I'm thankful.
Good. I was never promised tomorrow 2 years ago. We wasn't promised tomorrow. Other people heard it. You feel what I'm saying? What I'm telling you.
And now a three-point play chance here for him.
The ones in this
And no wonder Green has been called the heartbeat of his team.
military, to risk your lives for a group of people that's always been trying to destroy your people. Y'all need to go first. Take your ass over there first. I want y'all to go first. Take your ass over there because y'all do the military waiting for black people when you join, but you joined anyway. Why? Because you was selfish. You wanted that check. You wanted that scat. You wanted that Hellcat or something. That's what y'all want. So y'all need to go.
He's gonna be right up next to y'all.
Joining for the Hellcat. They be joining for the Hellcat.
And we need to drop 3 more on Iran because who they even thinking about threatening?
Yeah, our country.
Wait, why would we need to do it on Iran?
The real fact that
We will never go against Israel.
It's because a white T man and some BLK men came to America and destroyed everything on it for you to have this country and you to have your freedom and your beliefs. If not, you would be living in the Middle East being stoned by other men. And we don't have
What I'm saying, that's where you confused, yo. I'm indigenous of this land, brother, and most of the black people here are, but we believe the story that we came from the East Atlantic slave trade, about 12 million of them. But if you look at the documents, about 8 to 11 million of them went to the Caribbeans, and the majority went to the South America.
Yeah.
So black people up here, black people up here, we're mostly indigenous Americans that was already here. You better look into what else Trump is uncovering. You better look into what else Trump is providing us to raid and some shit that we wasn't able to have back when Biden was president, fucking Obama was president, even Bush was president, Clinton was president. We didn't have the access to this information like people with Trump.
Do you live under a democracy?
Yeah.
We all in this motherfucking country.
We all live in this motherfucker, right? And it took a lot of shedding of, I can't say the red liquid. It took a lot of shedding of that for democracy to happen. So whether or not you, the BLK people were here indigenously, like you say, it doesn't matter. You live under a democracy, and when war does break out, you will be forced into a van and then into an airplane to go fight for your country.
Let me tell you something, yo. The reason why I'm so against veterans going preaching the military and against the military is because I know that already. Who you think they gonna put on the front line? My grandfather was a 4-year quarterback. The reason why you the difference between us and, let's say, Russia or China or somebody like that. We don't have to be spies to get into this government. We don't have to be spies. We close hand. We right there. When it's time for that breaking point, when us minorities actually see it's time
What
to
a
go ahead and
quarter
take that
he's
step
had.
against
You
them,
can tell
and
he's
then
in
we
the
run the
flow.
narrative,
They should be
we
looking
still
for him
gonna be
every
America. We still
possession.
gonna run the narrative around the other
McDaniels finds
countries.
Conley.
We might do it different.
Edwards with it.
What you mean?
Offensive
We
rebound.
own property. We own
Slam
land.
dunk
That's
by
what we continue
Gobert.
to teach.
And you've got to box out
We want to own the
Gobert or
whole
he will
percentage. We
make
want to
you
own the land.
pay
We
on
want
the
to own the
offensive glass.
Hey,
And what do
Trail,
you
you
guys think
saying
so
some
far
real
about the
shit.
offensive
You
approach for
saying
the
some real
Warriors?
shit.
Well, the coaching staff's game plan is very clear. Move the ball on the perimeter and shoot the shots with no hesitation.
And I really liked how they moved the ball tonight. Because of this selfless approach, they are piling up the assists.
It has everything to do with mentally destruction.
Coach, what
we
more
have
can
to
you
go
ask?
against our mental destruction. How do we go against what we've been toxically taught? We teach the right shit. So what does buying property and having agriculture do for us? It provides the food and the water we need without eating.
Doing that. I'm just trying to figure out, is the majority of our culture doing that, or is the majority of our culture still going against each other? Because
from your point of view, what do you see?
Defensive player of the
From where I'm
year, Rudy
from,
Gobert.
it's a lot of
Well,
us.
Kevin,
And
since
that's
you
why I
asked,
speak
his
into black
impact in the
areas and
playoffs
try to
hasn't
spread
always
that
been the
word.
same
You
as
act
during
like
the
you
regular
act like
season.
that white
That's
ass
gotta
Rome was
be the
built in a
next
day.
step. Here's Conley.
It
The
take
basket. Nice
conversation.
shot
It
at
ain't gonna
missing his
happen
first attempt.
just by one
And he's been a
conversation.
terrific point guard in this league for a
He's
long
turning the
time.
chart. So
Mike Conley just
look at the
knows
black people
how
from
to
the
play.
90s to
Daniels
today.
from
We
outside.
turning it around.
Rudy Gobert with the rebound.
we turning it down and we don't have no
They've
families.
gotten
How
6
are we
of 11
turning,
shots to go down so far.
how are we
Pretty nice
turning
shooting.
around? We don't have no families. How are we turning it around when the mother and
Now,
the
here's
fathers are not in the
McDaniels.
home together? How are
His
we
last
turning
outing, he had
children?
18
Our
points.
children are being
Kicked
raised by
away.
iPads
Podziemski
and
with it. Out
not
defended
even a
by Randall.
foundation. How are we turning around when the
Daniels
majority
from
of our women
outside.
are obese?
Connects from
Move
3-point
with the
range.
money.
11
You gotta
points in the
move with
game.
the money and the
His
speed of
offense is
opportunity,
very
like Ti
high
said.
now.
See
And
those
even with the
iPads, them iPads and computers that our children being raised on, that's the next level of warfare. So we gonna need to know that. So just like how they say rap was a bad thing in previous generations, how they said R&B was a bad thing in previous generations, they say everything the newer generation do is bad. And that's what's wrong with the
I'm not trying to cut you off, but Trail Lee, I don't know how to say the name, Trail. I'm an old school mama. My kids don't be on nobody's laptop, nobody none of that.
That's for kids. That's not majority. The
You know what
majority
I'm saying? Not everybody. You gotta say some because not majority is like that.
Can I say something too?
Majority is not like
Can I say
that.
something?
No,
Can I
'cause
say
everybody
something?
in this world is not like that. You feel me? If you want to blame something, then blame the motherfucking people that grew up raising these goddamn kids that way. You want blaming?
Yeah, that's what she's saying. But can I say something?
This shit, you feel me? It's not.
Listen,
we can't keep
listen,
saying everybody.
listen.
Y'all,
What Erica is saying is true. What Erica is saying is true. You cannot speak in absolutes. Y'all both are speaking in absolutes. Big John, you speaking in absolutes. Trail, you speaking in absolutes.
Look up your ancestral background and figure out what your ancestors were and go for it. The children go for it.
They can't read in cursive, for sure.
Maybe you should go teach them. Have some children, baby. I don't have to. Well, my kids know how to read, right? You feel me? Right from wrong.
Listen, can I speak? Can I speak? Okay. So y'all are all speaking in absolutes. You know, Erica, you weren't. You were speaking on a personal level, but that's what y'all have to learn to do. Y'all have to hold on, Erica.
Everybody, Erica, my ass, Aquarius.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to get it out. I'm trying to get it out. I know. I get it. But what I'm saying is, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. But at the end of the day, what y'all both are saying is true. But what we have to do is learn to look at things with both a general and an absolute perspective. If y'all were both,
but keep it dirty with them, boy. You being soft on them. Keep it hot.
No, I'm trying to be mature and
What we got to do is teach ourselves, because it's a whole bunch of us that's cowards, and our kids, that when this time comes, that when it's time to stand up for ourselves as a people, we can't just say, I got my porch. You need to make sure your neighbor's straight too. And then also, you got to understand somebody going to unalive. Yeah. Somebody going to unalive for the cause. Me, right? I ain't scared to unalive for my kids. And if we raise our children right, they're not going to be scared to unalive for their kids. It's a certain destiny we got. Don't be no scary ass. Listen. And don't be running into it dumb. Don't try to get unalive. But when the time comes, if need be, I'm going to go ahead and take myself out so my future generations can create more generations. That's what we got to realize. That's what war is about. Take Israel, take Iran all the way up out of there. Israel need to go with them.
Here's the three. That's his sixth field goal today. And that makes him now 6 for 11.
The people that stand with Israel are not even the real people of Israel.
Exactly.
And with an update from the sideline,
get them gone.
Let's check in with David Aldridge.
Thank you, Kevin. Anthony Edwards is figuring things out. He said there's levels. My first 2 years I looked for my shot and nothing else. I've learned that I can't win without my teammates and that I have to throw them the ball.
That's what you got to start from. Because that's where we are lacking the most. We can't create and fight and do anything without
David. And so
that's what
Chris
these other
Finch
got on
calls
us.
for the timeout. And coach has decided they need a moment to talk things over.
And despite what their viewpoints or what they may think, they move as a collective.
we had never move as a collective.
So he says, to any black on AB or won't. We need more warriors. Song set from the start, sun in the moon.
A moment here to recognize the Western Conference.
Even if they not in the family, a mother and father household or a parent household, like people say they should be, we still need these bodies. We still need these people. It's people like that that change the world. I'm starting to think pushing this family stuff is the opposite of the message we need to push. We need to push morals first and foremost, and family come with that.
Well, morals generally come from your family. If you're not raised without a family, you're generally going to get your morals from experiences, and your experiences start from how you're raised.
That's the defender doing just enough to cause a miss on the layup.
Yeah, but we're the most, what do you mean? Like, we're the ones that's off the rails. The women are off the rails. The young boys are off the rails. Look around music. Everything is degenerate. A lot of the time, our women are on the side of things that are inherently weak.
That's because we choose to listen. It's who we choose to listen to, man. You gotta have self-accountability.
Here we go with Curry running it up the court.
If you put yourself in spaces with positive people who preaching some good shit, and when you say I want a solution, they say let's make one, then you're gonna be a good fucking person. You're gonna be better off. But if you surround yourself with people who not on shit, even if you are on shit, you not ever gonna be on shit.
What we have to understand is, people, when you are growing up, you are fun. You are a child. Everything you're learning is coming from your surroundings and what you're being listened and told. Your brain is easier to manipulate when you are that young. So a lot of our young girls are unfortunately products of their environment. There is a small percentage of people like myself that has the willpower to be like, okay, how I was raised is wrong. Let me go fix my mental, because that's where it comes from first. And therefore I can start preaching. I don't come from the best environment. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I don't come from the best environment. I have cousins that still live there. No matter what you tell people, what you say, those people are, again, still products of their environment.
Terrific screen.
So guess what? They're still going to do whatever they want to do until they're mentally able to understand that how they're raised.
Pass to post.
It's about your mental.
Purpose for the products.
There's the triple.
But then what happens when you go get the therapy and you realize that toxic environment is our community? what happens when you try to come back to the community and be a positive force in the community, and you realize that the community is literally dominated and ran by toxicity. So it's either conform to the toxicity and be a part of that system, or try to fight it and get the fuck ignored all the time, or just fucking move on and not even be a part of your own community. It's like you gotta pick a fucking pill, pick a poison.
You can't force people to change. And you can't force people to take advantage of their resources and opportunities. Like a lot of people in our community, they kind of set in their ways. So
How about all 5 from long range?
Our community want to follow real niggas who gonna do real nigga shit, not real men, not real women.
It's going to start with the people they look up to most, and that's going to be your little
definition of
and the rap.
Randall's got his second basket of the game.
You know, they like
A real ignorant motherfucker.
on every possession.
Yes, that is a nigga.
Let me tell you, he's right. Let me tell you why.
Yeah, this quarter
Because
is all
real
about him. He's just dominating at the offense.
don't view themselves as a real. They just say they're a real man. They don't use that N word.
Well, I did get a chance to
For
speak
real.
with Steve Kerr a little bit.
They don't use that
And we
N-word.
talked about the bruising big
if they
man,
do, that's
Julius
not all that
Randle.
defines them.
He told me Julius sets
So
the
y'all
tone
telling
for
me,
them with
right?
his physicality.
And I get what you're saying, the message behind it. Y'all telling me a real nigga can't have a weak vernacular?
No, that's not the point.
It's strength in your words, it's power in tongue, you know? That's you need a well-spoken person as a leader. Like, look at the shit that we already been through with these white people.
It's
If you
strength
don't
in
understand,
numbers, though. It's strength in numbers.
And
And the majority of the minorities stay in communities where the vernacular isn't good.
but did y'all
Right?
know
And they told, look, though,
we the majority now, though?
this is an inside issue.
Can I
right
speak
here.
on this as well?
Oh, look, that one thing is an inside issue. That's classism. You feel what I'm saying? It's separation because vernacular isn't there. Just because, let's say, for example, let's take it to somebody famous who fights. I'm gonna go with boxing, okay? So Mike Tyson, his vernacular was weak, but that's a body we could use in a war against opposition. You see what I'm saying?
If your vernacular is weak and you can't understand certain terms, you're not going to be able to properly speak in code. When you are at WA war with people, you have to understand how to speak.
What they call it?
You
TAVE?
have to learn. You have to know how to speak in code. That's why when
They say African American vernacular is.
That's why when you listen, that's why you enlist when you enlist in any military in any country, you have to have a certain level of reading score and to be able to interpret certain things, because you are going to be disclosed high clearance, high security things that you cannot disclose. And a lot of folks can't even understand what is being told to them because they have a very low vocabulary.
That's what I'm saying, the communication barriers. So since we put them people down whose vernacular ain't right, in a country that speaks a bastard language whose vernacular of the vernacular that they took from another country isn't right, then we have a bigger issue. You see what I'm saying?
Not only do you need a good vocabulary in that aspect, but you also need emotional intelligence. If you can't articulate how you feel to people or what you're feeling, then you definitely gonna be a toxic person to those around you. But
Or not even that, just be able to perceive someone's emotions and not get upset when they're bringing an issue with you and think they're trying to start something as well.
exactly. You know, your empathy is a bigger aspect in that as well. But I feel like, to play devil's advocate a little bit, you know, y'all both are missing a point a little bit, because y'all are still finding another way to distance yourselves from each other. Like, y'all finding another barrier to set up. Like, these are the type of things the type of traps that we fall into in order to set ourselves apart from each other. Like, yes, having a good articulation, being able to articulate yourself is very, very important. But we can't lock other people out of the community simply because, or deny them access to being a quote unquote leader simply because they, lack those type of skills. It's just all about. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I think that when you're talking about us coming together, the first thing
For Minnesota, they've gone 4 of 7 from the field in the second quarter so far.
And then
Clark
go ahead
outside,
and execute. It's about
inside.
identifying
Here's
and
Alexander Walker.
The issue is that
And
a lot
again,
of our
it's
people
Minnesota.
like you said, don't
And they
have
keep
emotional
hammering
intelligence. So
away at them
go
inside,
and try to
forcing the
identify
ball
where they're wrong
into the
at and
paint.
try to help them mentally
Here's
develop
Daniels,
better.
power down with both hands.
And mentally develop better.
And Curry
There are-
isn't
there's
just a
very,
lights-out scorer. He's also efficient.
Right.
it's a level of ignorance that won't
Ego.
even allow them to
Here's
see
Steven
that
Shenzo.
what you're trying to do is
He's been
help
a
them be
factor in
better.
their offense on
It's
most
time to
nights with
unalive
their
in this
scoring average
motherfucker,
of
man.
I
nearly
was just
16 points a
saying,
game.
not really, bro. That's
Down
crazy.
low,
But I was just saying on this other
Alexander
panel,
Walker.
this girl, she's 19, she's the host. She's saying that emotions rule the world. Everybody's
You're
like,
right.
no,
And
it
if
doesn't.
produces
I'm
a
like,
slam
it's
like
not
that,
emotions.
you'll
It's
probably
ego,
see
pride,
more
and
of
money.
Yeah,
That's literally all it is. It's about ego. And a lot of times that's another block that people have that causes them to not be able to reciprocate and comprehend correctly. Like, that's literally it.
And it's Daniels.
Emotions.
And it's bad because we kind of, the hustle mentality is good and bad, but at the same time, it's made this really strong competitive energy in every community. I know everybody knows what I'm talking about. And so it's like, it kind of goes in one ear, out the other. Like, you can't even,
He's got it now.
But let me ask you a
you
second,
can't
though.
even speak proper sometimes, depending on where you at in certain hoods, because then they be like, oh, you think you right, or this or that. You know what I'm saying? Thank God I never been through nothing like that, but I've definitely heard of stories of people going through shit like that too. And then I heard that down south, some people not even considering people like me, like light skin, they don't consider light skin people black, and that's crazy. It's like, oh, now why do we keep making more issues for us to pick on each other about when the world already is hard on us? You know what I'm saying? Like, the world already doesn't.
This is what I'm saying, right?
A place for us in this world. We already have to work extra hard to find a spot for ourselves in this world. Why are we doing that to each other already? Like,
But who's pride and ego? Who got the issue with the pride and ego in the country?
Everybody.
it's everybody, but it's a big thing. Like, it's a big generational thing with black people. Like, for us in our community.
That's true. So, what are we talking about here? We need to go to war.
Boy.
But yeah, like, I feel like it's definitely engineered to be that way, man. Like, it's engineered for us to find every which way to have conflict or to set ourselves apart from each other. And I feel like that's just, you have to rise. That's where self-accountability comes in at, and being really wise. And that's why I say we just following the wrong people. Everybody focused on the flesh, the physical aspects of life. But when it comes to the emotional or mental, some people focus on that, yes, but it's not like the main pressing issue. And I feel like that's the problem. Like, we have to really break down these generational curses that we have, not only in our own families, but on our entire race.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that's why I say that's a collective.
That's what I was saying earlier, though, bro. Some people are set in their ways. Like, I'm telling y'all, like,
Then
I
ignore
know
them.
this from firsthand experience. Like, you can't make people change. Some people really, they rather, you know how we are seeing, like, kind of like, I don't know if y'all religious, but kind of like prophesied stuff in a sense. But you know how, like, since we was younger, like, the elders was always like, oh, Jesus coming back. I personally now, at this point in my adulthood, I'm feeling like we've kind of used the rapture as a way to try to hope that we be washed of all of our responsibilities.
Yeah.
And all the work that we have to do. Like, a lot of us, and it's even in the streets, like, we rather run to danger or death than to buckle up. You know what I'm saying? And work hard.
Yeah.
And go through a little struggle that way. We rather struggle the way that they condition us to be used to. So now it's like we enslave ourselves, we enslave each other. It's a mental blockage, it's generational stuff, it's generational trauma, generational curses, spiritual warfare, all this stuff.
I don't want to say, I don't want to use this verbiage because it's, white supremacy verbiage, but that's the victim mentality that everybody always be bitching and moaning about.
But I feel like that's real though, bro. That's real.
Unfortunately.
Like, that's real. Like, it's literally in your genetics. Like, trauma can be passed down. That's scientifically proven, bro. Like, that's real.
But you have to understand,
aren't able. What I'm trying to say is, it's sad when people aren't able to break out of it. Like,
Listen to me.
Loving isn't a choice; it's an ability. The same way as self-awareness and having a conscious and emotional capacity, and also not being so shallow. To have a spiritual depth, a mental depth, that's a blessing.
Okay, what I'm trying to get you to hear.
Doesn't have that.
What I'm trying to get you to hear is, yes, I understand that, a lot of people can't break out of that mold, myself included sometimes. But and that's why I say self-accountability. Because yes, there is a lot of sheep in this world who just gonna follow the program, even if that program goes directly against them. If they say, you got black men out here who is tearing down their mothers and daughters. You have black women out here who's tearing down their sons and their fathers. That literally goes, and they're saying they pro-black, by the way. That literally goes directly against their reality. What you have to do as a human being, what we have to do if we want to grow and develop, that's what black people who succeed do. They break out of that mode of worrying about every other fucking person, because you can't take everybody with you, unfortunately, as much as we want to, as much as we...
Exactly.
But you're worrying about everybody else.
So I wanted to say something about what Big John was saying about like us going to WER. So one, like I said earlier, one thing that the white people have in common, because you gotta understand, there's rednecks. There's people in Mississippi that's vocabulary is worse than some PLK people that can't read. That's just straight hillbillies. So what they have in common is they know that no matter how lower they are, they live in how poor they are.
Well, look, Edwards plays with a lot of confidence,
in the richer states
which
of California,
makes him
New York, or
deadly
whatever, that got the same goals with them, it doesn't matter how stupid they are, they still want to go with them.
Some nice passing by Golden State.
We don't move as a collective. We're divided. It doesn't matter how smart or how lower you are. The problem is with the people that are lower, they have a problem with the people that are higher because they feel like that we think we're better. And then the people that are higher talk down on the people that are lower because they think that they need to be more accountable and self-aware and do better because they did it. But at the end of the day, we still are the same people. And that's what the other people have in common. Rich, poor, wealthy, working poor, it doesn't matter. When it all boils down to it, they have divided this country into race for a reason. Because when it hit the fans, who is going to stick together? Them people going to stick together. They going to let their brother in, their mother in, their father in, while we sitting here arguing. We can't even stay in the same house together.
On the wing, Daniels.
Together because we're so divided. And then they brainwash us so much that we equate success with how much material and how much money you got.
Yeah.
When all of that is still going to be you. Your success is measured by how you are going to be viewed when you in that casket.
Yep. How many people come to your...
Well, Edwards is such a
how big of an influence were you? How big of a father were you? How big
you don't want to be known as just a baby mother. You don't want to be known as a baby father or a corner boy or the girl that was on the internet popping her cooch or a black person in America on American soil is nothing but a barcode. We have literally been placed here as for profit.
But that's being an American.
Building this league,
and nothing much has really, things have changed physically, but spiritually,
And you can't tell folks to take accountability when the very thing that they need to take accountability is self-awareness. These people wake up every morning and looking at they don't do self-awareness. Nothing wrong.
That's what I'm saying. So we have to stop paying attention. Like, what I'm saying is, if the people who have half a brain cell at least would just stop worrying about the people who don't. We have to stop. If you're a have when it comes to monetary shit, then fuck off. But if you're a have when it comes to self-awareness, then stop worrying about the have-nots. Because if you
say that, because those have-nots, when you are not around your children, those have-nots are getting in your children's mind. There's children that come from very successful family, have religion foundation, has mother and father foundation, have all the foundation that they need, but still are pressured into doing things from degenerates in the culture. So you can't say let's just ignore them, just ignoring them. When we are in the world of media. We are in that world. So it doesn't matter how much you try to ignore it, is in your face. It's going to be in the future generation's face. So we can't ignore it. Our duty is to do is stand up against it and fight against it. That's why Big John is saying we need to go to WAR.
If you fight against it, then you're just gonna be in. You will never reach Samsara. Do you know what that means? Do you know what transcending out of the system that is eternal?
I'm trying to see Euphoria. What you talking about?
You not gonna see Euphoria. You gonna see a Bullet, and then you're gonna see the next life.
Already there.
Y'all, let's focus. Y'all, let's refocus.
It's time to die.
No, I'm gonna tell y'all why that's not gonna work. So for people, right? So, Cho, this concerns you. You real passionate about it, just like me. And I understand you. Like woman to woman, for real. I get every place that you coming from. But for people that we trying to check and protect our children from, war is the easiest thing for them to do.
Yes, they gonna put us in camps.
one's
not
good.
just the states that we're in. It's 50 states, bro, plus territories.
Yeah, he's in
We
such a great rhythm
territory called
right now.
Nauru,
Makes sense
and it's
to give him the
one of
ball
Polynesian
any way you
islands.
can.
They celebrate the
Yeah, when you
Super
have
Bowl.
a
Y'all
guy
probably never
playing
even
like
heard
he
of that,
has
bro.
been
And
recently,
guess what?
he's got to be the
It's
first
one big
option on
experience, and the experience didn't work there
And
because the
Randall
majority of the
closes it down.
population is obese.
Not enough
And the
defense
natural
there.
resources
Allowing Randall
that
to
they
get that close is a
fucking
recipe for disaster.
Daniel from outside. Rebound,
They're
Minnesota.
not that
They're
big.
getting their first look of the season at the Warriors
So
in this
I'm
one.
just saying, right?
And we'll see if anything's different this year
This
because
shit,
they didn't
bro,
match up
going
well
back
with
and
this
forth
team
arguing,
last year.
it's not
Getting
going to change
swept
anything.
in the season
Maybe try to find your place on this planet because it's a big word. We're stuck here. We're here, girl.
That's what I'm saying. They also pick a difference.
You ain't listen to what I told you earlier, Kay.
Shot by Curry, no good.
This is spiteful, bro. That's the
Right.
You know, that's the lie that we've been told to stay trapped.
Fight for
You didn't listen to what I told you earlier, Kay.
There, no offense. Hold on, Aquarius. That right there. Yeah, that right there. No offense is the difference between men.
I already got
and
mine,
women.
man.
Right? That's the
Don't
difference
want to
between
give up
men
that kind of
and
look
women.
too often.
From downtown, Randall can't get that one to fall.
Because
Warriors leading by
that
16.
mindset, we shouldn't have to keep fighting.
Pass to
We
Daniel.
know we don't
And
keep
again
fighting.
for
Nah, that's why our ancestors gonna keep rolling in their graves, and this land is gonna keep having wildfires, and it's gonna
No, the reason why they finna keep rolling in their graves is because we keep fighting with each other, bro.
Because
Most
it's
of
an
the
imbalance,
ancestors
bro.
we praise laid on
It's
their
an
backs.
imbalance, man. Yo, bro, whoever
Most of the
is
ancestors
into
we
nature knows
praise
what I'm talking
laid
about.
on their backs.
Man, whoever's into with nature know what I'm talking about. This water, even the water, the land is living, bro. The water is living, bro. Like our ancestors gonna be rolling in their graves until we allow them to have peace, bro.
Your ancestors laid on their backs.
Hold on.
And
Where do you
so
expect
Chris
us
Finch
to
calls
go?
for the timeout. This will
Figure
give
it
him a
out, bro.
chance
We're
to discuss
accepting
some
all the
potential
work,
alterations. And the Timberwolves making a change here. DiVincenzo's checked in.
Okay.
So it's
the
Minnesota
issue,
now.
right? Because for us to do that, we need to have resources. We need to have money, which means that we need to have some type of foundation here to build. Every time we try to do that, they take it away. The other issue is people do want to go, sure,
with a screen
but
for
some
Conley.
people want to stay.
Drains
Because
the
at this
three-pointer.
point, why would you run
Conley's
away
got
instead of
8.
trying to make
I'll
the
tell
problem
you, you
better?
give Conley the ball
Sonny,
and trust him to make the right decision.
Charles, real quick, I'm gonna shut up, y'all. Sonny, in Japan,
Three-pointer, Daniels.
you know about black fraternities and
Rudy Gobert
sororities?
with the rebound.
Of course.
We have embassies
Timberwolves trail
overseas.
by 16.
My sister's in Okinawa right now because she's a Delta.
And the
That's
foul
why.
on P.
So, and guess
That's
what?
foul number 2 for
Japan's
him.
not the only
2
place.
fouls for
So
him
you gotta
in
do
the
your
first
research.
half.
We don't necessarily need
Really
to keep
smart
working
going
hard here
forward.
because we already
And the
have
Warriors
things
making
here
a change
that people don't want to take advantage
Fields
of.
checked in.
Then we don't know. We don't know, bro. There's travel abroad programs, bro. There's jobs you can get, bro. There's opportunities, bro.
So it's the Golden State Warriors sitting with a comfortable lead up by 14. Their transition game has been in full effect. We'll return shortly.
Just let her land her plane, Kay.
Right? There are some people who A, don't understand how loans work because our education system sucks. B, don't have someone who can coach
Hey there, everybody.
because their system
Jack says
sucks.
hi.
Or C,
Kenny says hi,
don't have
too.
money to go to
Yes,
school.
we are in the midst
other
of the
issue
NBA
on top
season
of that
and a
is even
perfect
if you
time
go there,
to
she
see
may
how
be
things
having
are
a great
coming together in
experience,
the
and
West.
that's great. Racism is everywhere.
You guys
Our
finding any
skin color
interesting
follows us
matchups
everywhere,
here?
Zach's
especially in
most
Asian
interesting
countries.
matchup:
The darker
main
you are,
dishes
the worse you are
and
treated.
side pieces.
You like
So
no
what's the
matter
best
where
combo,
we go,
D?
that is where we're
Two
going to be treated. The
words:
only place
mac
where
and
that might
cheese
not
is
be
the
an
perfect
issue is
food.
Africa.
Hey,
That
it's
might get us
melty,
a little
it's
trouble.
cheesy,
That's not true.
you can mix in a protein, you
They're
can
gonna
go
still discriminate,
gourmet.
and
You know
they're
what?
actually
You guys are like the mac and cheese of this broadcast.
They feel like we compare
perfect
us.
pairing.
Girl, hold up. Everybody else let you talk. Just
And now,
hold
how
on.
about that first
The reason
half?
I am telling
Talk
you
about
this
a
is
dominating
yes,
display
we
for the Golden
can
State
migrate.
Warriors.
We can go to other places.
We knew they wanted to track me.
Some people are
And
more
man, they
comfortable
got
with the
it. What a
dangers that
pace
they
they've
know
set.
than
Very
going
hard
into
to
a
beat
different
them at their
territory
own
and
game.
not knowing what
They
fuck they're
wear
going to
you
go through.
out, and we've still got a whole other half to go.
That's what I'm
Okay, can I speak, please?
And that's a halftime.
May I speak, please?
See, that's the problem that we have as BLK. That's a problem that we have at BLK people. Because one thing these white tea people and these Chinese people and all these other races of people don't have is that they're not scared. They're
comeback,
here
though,
for
is
right
needed
now,
for this game to get
building real
competitive,
estate.
and
They're
it probably has to happen quickly.
Setting their foundation or
fantastic
setting
game
their
from P in this
footprint
one.
in the
His
continent that
play
is
so far
ours.
is what
That is
fans
my issue.
love about him.
My
He
issue
has
is if
gone
we keep
right
talking
at the
about,
defense
we are
time and
aware
time
here,
again.
we are aware
Yeah,
here.
he
That means
hasn't
you're
been
scared
settling.
and you're fearful.
He's
And it means
getting
you
to the
can't really
rim,
believe in
and
God
that's
that much.
him
If
at
you're
his
so
back.
scared to take
In the backcourt, we'll see Curry
you
and
against each
Podziemski.
other here. What
Jermaine
risk are
Dempson
you
at the
losing
4 with
to go
Green
to
sliding
another
up to
country
center.
to see that you are
As
happy, if you're
Daniels
going to
in
be
at the
happier
3.
there?
That's
At
the
the end of the
Warriors'
day,
5.
the U.S.
For
dollar
years,
is
it seemed
falling
like the
every
league was going to
The
go
U.S.
smaller.
dollar
But
is falling
lately, Greg,
every
it seems
second
like
of the day.
size
So
is back in
it's
fashion.
going to
Yeah, I mean, look at the MVP
it's
award,
about to
right?
collapse.
Centers and Jokic
And
and
at the end of
Embiid
the day,
winning
my
it
US
recently.
dollar is still
Even
has some
Giannis,
super
I
strength.
wouldn't
My
consider him
suggestion for
small.
all BLK
And just
people, because we
overall
are
around the
at the
NBA, it
bottom
feels
of the
like
barrel
bigger
here,
teams
we
are
need
having
to
more
start
success.
putting our resources together
Whoops, they
and
pick
setting
off
the
the pass.
footprint in other
Great job
countries and
preventing
other
that
places.
ball from
You
coming
still can
into the
have your
post.
place
Might
here.
have been
You
an
can
easy
still
two
have things
if the
going here.
defense
You
wasn't
can
there.
still have a home and blah, 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 and everything your coach
Daniels
here.
dishes to Green.
But one thing these
Back to
white people
Daniels.
know
Good, and it's Green picking up the
another
assist.
source somewhere else.
Green's
If you
got
go
assist
to
number
West
5
Africa
here
right
tonight.
now,
The
where most of our
assist totals,
ancestors
just
come from, the ones that
continue
did
to grow.
come here
They're
on the
way ahead
ship,
in that
in
category.
Senegal,
Ball
in
movement has been
Nigeria, in
flawless.
Coast, in all the other
Conley, the
Western
pass to Gobert.
countries. If you go there, you will see white people.
Hold up.
Outside, Edwards.
No, your ass ain't roll your ass in my life, boy. If you don't roll your ass back up out this motherfucker right now, my boy.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. If you go
It's
to
rebounded by Golden State. Here in this third
I'm
quarter,
talking
just
whole
over a minute
flames.
play.
Wait, whole flames there.
Here's Podziemski. And the
Oh,
layup
yeah.
is good.
Get your ass
And
up
the
out
Warriors
of
lead
here.
by
Why
21.
goddamn?
They are on fire.
Push it down the
starting
stairs.
Second half. 3 for 3
That's
and
right,
looking
you know, go
totally
ahead.
insane.
And let's head over to the sideline and catch up with David Alder.
You're going to see white
Kevin, thank you
American
very
people.
much.
You're going to
The
see the
Timberwolves
rich
have
white
become
American
a
people
rough
in the
and
rain.
rugged
You're going to see
team.
all of them in
Wingman
every corner.
Jamie McDaniel
They are
said, "We don't
building
let nobody push us
like
around.
no other.
We're always
And
being
that is what
physical
we should be
defensively.
doing.
I feel
And
like we're a
to
tough
get y'all to
team.
understand,
Super tough.
they know something that we don't know, but some of us do know, and the ones that aren't saying it, people are refusing to listen to because they have a fear.
And we thank you for the
Fear
report.
is what's going to
Great ball movement
make
there.
or break you in the future.
And it's
Because the U.S. is on the decline. If you didn't know, before the U.S. there was another world power, and it wasn't
with
the
the ball
U.S.
for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Before World War II ended, the U.S.
Still
dollar
looking
was
for their
not
first
the
bucket of the second half.
in the world. It was something else, and before that, it was Romans. The Romans. Every empire has a certain number of years before it will fall. And we are on that downfall.
Over Daniel.
250 years.
And Africa is the safest place for BLK Americans to go. The safest place.
Conley's got his fourth assist in this one.
You got a hot 5 minutes to split up between all of y'all.
Daniels with it.
Let me tell you why you're here,
And
right?
contact down
We
the shot,
talking
so
about
he'll be shooting free throws.
leaving this place. I ain't hear no Eric Sonny shoot speaking in the face. We talking about leaving this place, making footprints in other
shooting their fourth and
places,
fifth attempts at the
taking
free throw line
resources
tonight.
to other places. They're scared of the place that we in right now. How the hell this game saying when she hit the fan?
There's no
When she hit the
place
fan.
better than the U.S.
When shit, appreciate it, Charles.
That free
When
throw
shit
missing.
hit the fan, right? And all of these nuclear warheads, all of this chemical warfare supplies that's over here, this body of land specifically set up to go to every other body of land, that every other body of land don't have as efficient as ours. That is a dumb move, because when shit hit the fan, we gonna be a part of that infection. Go to Japan. What happened in Japan back in the 1900s? That's what they can do now. Talking about Japan, we right here. They not gonna set that shit up where they stepping in. So we gonna have to take it a different type of warfare. We gonna have to take it elsewhere. And when we talk about scared to leave, no, we leaving because we scared to stay. That's what that is. Why you leaving America? All because it's bad over here, man. They treat you so well over there. Oh, the economy's better over there. The food's better over there. Everything's better. You're scared. You're scared. You talking about being grounded. You talking about being one with the land. You can't even get one with the land that you in right now. That's the problem. You don't know who was grounded before these colonizers. I can tell. You gotta look into that. If our ancestors, if we come from this body of land, wasn't over there in Africa, that's not the land that was promised to us. Sorry if you learn it from the Bible or whatever religious book, but that ain't us. That ain't us. If you look at the bodies and the numbers of people that came over here in them slave ships, the majority didn't even come here. The minority did. The majority was already over here. They didn't bring sand to the beach. They went to the beach and started taking over the sand that was here. The reason they took us over, like I said earlier about 20 minutes ago, is because we was compassionate and we let them in and we caught their diseases. They got up on us. They could never get up on us. We was fucking them up. What they call the Indians or the Indians or the Indios, if you know the knowledge. You feel what I'm saying? But we ain't so we can't be taking our resources out of this country. That don't make sense. Because when shit hit the fan, I ain't missing the point. I'm telling you, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing if America do decide to attack the place that you're trying to move off to, because that place is a fucked up third world country. Not even third world.
Why would you?
Say what?
Why would America? Okay. Why would America attack Africa? Why did they attack the first time?
That's what I'm saying. Why did they go the first time? What country you want to know about? Let's go.
America never attacked Africa.
What are y'all talking about, bro? What the fuck are y'all talking about?
6 on the shot clock. Gobert with a screen on Kuminga.
How many people are talking about
Finished off by Gobert.
Let me respond to him. The safest place for people to go is, for BLK people to go, is Africa.
No, it's not.
The safest place for people to go. To leave America.
No good.
I never said to leave America and not come back here. What I said was, why do you think the U.S. has U.S. territories all over the world? Why do you think there's a U.S. territory in somewhere in Africa and in Guam and all these other places? Even the government knows how important it is to have your footprint somewhere else. It's about maximizing your resources. It's about your U.S. passport can get you in mostly every country in this world. It's about having your footprint somewhere else and also having your footprint here. That is the best thing you can do for yourself and your family. You are not doing, most countries are not doing anything here. What resources
He's feeling
60% of our people can't even survive comfortably. So why don't you take your resources and grow it somewhere else? You're going to be making money there.
Can I speak finally, please? Damn, bro. Oh my God.
When we invaded North Africa,
Here we fucking go.
alongside the Brits, take it from the French. Right? We control this shit. It's a reason we did that. And it wasn't just to relieve the people in those towns. It was to control the people in those towns, which we do to this day. Which is why most African countries aren't a threat to America. They're a pebble to a boulder. They're a pebble to a mountain. Which is why I say if shit hits the fans and America decide to aim that shit towards them, it ain't nothing they can do.
They'll never do that. If they destroy Africa, they destroy the world.
Bro. I'm just saying, bro, like the back and forth, like just fucking call each other. Like this is really frustrating, y'all. Y'all gotta learn to just let it go. I'm finna speak now. Y'all keep on talking all this. I'm talking to y'all. I'm putting my foot down. No, I'm putting my foot down. Man.
Hey, look, you better decide to find another pedal to drop them nuts on, not this one.
I'm dropping my nuts right on the table. But yeah, but at the end of the day, y'all, like,
I ain't done talking 1 second, Aquarius.
oh my gosh, John.
Like I said, my boy, it ain't no reason leaving this motherfucker and going to somewhere that's weaker than this place. Especially when we know how to get around this place, maneuver around this place. We got people that are just as intelligent as their people running this place. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said before, like I keep saying, we don't need spies to get into this government. We're already there. We need to change the narrative of what we're teaching our newer generation. We need to stop shaming that baby mama that got babies by 3 different dudes and start making her feel like she ain't got away, because she probably make her kids feel like they ain't got away, and they go ahead and raise people more corrupt, which is why I brought up that 9 song. You need to teach them that it's still a place for them. It's still a purpose for them. Instead of trying to push toxic masculinity on them, which comes from men and women. And then most importantly, you need to learn your place. Women need to stay in their place. Men need to stay in their place. Simple as that.
So like I said before, y'all both are speaking in absolutes. Y'all can't be open-minded, bro. Y'all both are saying the same size of y'all both are saying 2 sides of the same coin. We have to stay in America, build up our wealth, get to the point where we are sustainable within any freaking scenario that we are put into. That's what the Shrews did. That's what any successful group, whether it be a sub-denomination of a race or a freaking religion, was able to do in order to prosper. They find out how to take advantage of the systems of the places that they in. They adapt, they update, and they evolve. You niggas are being too fucking one-sided, closed-minded, bro. And I've been saying this shit the whole time. Y'all can learn how to take the best advice from both sides and then come together inside and form some type of compromise that has both the best aspects of y'all freaking ideals. That's all I'm trying to get y'all to understand here, bro. Y'all don't got to sit here and argue for 3 hours going back and forth. Y'all both saying shit that's actually valid and factual. But y'all both is just being so close-minded that y'all can't see. Okay, why can't we just do both? Y'all remember that fucking commercial with the little Mexican girl, with the little Latino girl and shit? Why not both? Like, that's how I fucking feel right now. Y'all sitting up here wasting hours of our time going back and forth, and y'all saying some shit that's valid, but y'all can't just realize, like, damn, why can't we stay in America, build up, and then go to wherever and be successful and prosperous there, because we already have a foundation. That's what I'm saying. So why is y'all arguing? Why can't we just move on?
You can't just jump steps, folks.
Yes.
Expect to end up at the top of the stairs by putting your foot forward. No, you gotta lift your foot up and put it forward. Then you gotta do the same thing.
Yeah, and before you interrupted me earlier, I was gonna say I actually agree with you, nigga.
I've been saying it.
Oh, stop saying that. Damn, you keep having to put fruit in the damn chat.
I feel like
you can't say the N-word now?
I feel like
man, TikTok, y'all trying to fuck up the whole little dynamic of the scenario and all of the aspirations.
Watch the Americans fuck up Iran.
If we could be more focused on facts and positivity and things that would be like contributing to growth on both sides, instead of trying to focus on who's right or who's wrong or who's smart or who's
ego.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally what Aquarius is saying, it's kind of like a Venn diagram. 2 circles and they come together in the middle. Little infinity sign, you know what I'm saying? And you write the similarities in the middle, got the differences on each side, and you pick from the middle and you implement so there can be growth. I don't really think that us as Black people, I feel like we're struggling getting past that arguing point, and we can't get to the growth part. We can't get to the implementing part. It's crazy.
People gotta
really understand.
People gotta argue.
No, we don't.
That's the difference between man and woman right there. You don't think people gotta argue? That's the ugly truth of the world. Somebody gotta argue.
No.
Somebody gotta take the throne.
We supposed to argue with the enemy. We supposed to argue with the enemy. We have to debate amongst ourselves.
It's a Judas.
No, bro, what?
You gotta decide what to do with Judas. Okay. You gotta decide how to determine who the Judas is.
That's facts.
Then you gotta argue, or you gonna let the Judas take over.
No, you debate with the Judas.
Just that though, that like you don't really follow biblical stuff, bro. Like you don't really go.
Like you saying biblical stuff. Judas is deeper than Bible stories, man. And they do this in the Bible, doing exactly. And then that's what I'm saying. People that tell you gotta know me.
Judas is a concept.
He did exactly what the Bible told him to do. He was never in the wrong. He did exactly what he was told.
Warriors
So stop
by
all that bullshit.
17.
Like Jesus didn't tell this man to go tell folks where he was at.
Okay.
And here is Healed. Nothing on the board.
That's what I'm saying.
I hear you.
It's a board, Shorty. It's gonna be a trailer.
Alexander Walker with the ball.
And then guess what?
Randall on top for the three.
And men carry too much emotion. One thing men understand is war has that.
Gobert with a screen for Edwards.
That's another example of what I'm talking about. Like, that's just another distraction. That's just another divide. Of Burns made that point earlier. What does gender have to do with anything that was on the ball thing? Anything that we was talking about just now. A collective.
Listen.
Pass to post.
The average man and the average woman, this is just facts. If they was arguing,
they kick out to Heal.
I think that's opinionated, so that your opinion is not necessarily facts.
That's what I'm saying.
Rebound by the Timberwolves.
Well, defense got lucky there. More often than not, he's making that call.
Here's Conley. And it's Looney with the rebound. Looney's got 4 rebounds now tonight.
And simply, and this is if we look like we're discussing what shit.
A look at his stats. He averages a bit over 8 points a game.
In warfare, that's just the facts.
Here's Alexander Walker.
You see what I'm saying? You're saying want you. You saying want you.
That's not what I said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear.
Take a deep breath.
Out to Edwards. Launches a 3. That's in. Coming off an assist from Randall.
There ain't no deep breath, and that's a fact.
Randall's got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight.
You gotta get with it because you can't do nothing else. You can't even get going.
Now here's Heal. Still scoreless.
I don't want to be beat by any man.
You ain't gotta be beat by any man. That's the difference. That's the difference between the patriarch that they call it think is right and the patriarch who used to live in. Simple as that, men have always led the wars.
I'm gonna let Charles go.
Alexander Walker passes to Edwards.
That's what I'm saying. You can't tell or let
with a screen on
anybody talk.
Heal. Edwards.
And
it's Looney with the rebound. Looney's got his 5th rebound right now in the game. Looney finds
Go ahead,
Heal.
Charles. Take it away.
I'm trying to keep it together.
Nah, I'm not coming in here on like no BS or nothing.
Just spit that shit, Charlie.
1:31 left to play in the
hosts.
third. Nice shot
no
by
better
Moody.
place to go than the Americans.
Listen, I'm finna invite my friend, y'all. I'll be back.
For the Timberwolves. It's a 16-point game.
I was just finna ask the host to let me back up. Damn.
For the timeout. He wants to check in with
I
his
feel like Black
team
Americans
and
are
regroup.
safer. I feel like Black Americans are safer.
Damn.
I got you. Go.
I feel like Black Americans are safer. Over here and do anything to get over here. And then assimilating with Black Americans, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they really don't like us like that. So it's like the illegal Mexicans. But again, there's no other place better to go for Black Americans than the Americas. You got the West Indies, South America, Central America. We got Canada. You can go to Canada and be safe. You can go to Canada. That's still part of North America. Shoot, man, we don't know how big the Americas are. Like, America's huge.
We was really connected to Antarctica at a point in time, but y'all ain't between enough maps to know it.
Yeah, I don't think it's like the safest place, quote unquote. I don't believe that either.
Yeah, it's not. Africa's so underdeveloped that the Africans don't even want to be there.
Why do y'all think Africa is so underdeveloped?
Because of colonization.
Yeah, the Europeans and the Chinese are there because they buy cheap land because it's so underdeveloped. That's all it is.
Africa has the youngest generation. Black American people, white American people, we not having kids. These women not having kids. They all got COS. They can't even get pregnant. They all having trouble. We all obese. Everything over here is corrupt.
Damn.
What I'm trying to say is, if you see every other country
Warriors leading by
putting their
16.
footprint in a place,
And I'm trying to tell you to pay attention to what these folks are doing. They're doing it for a reason. That's because the consumers that are so much consumers here now, they're getting old. The older you get, the less money you spend because you've been already bought everything. And then on top of that, you ain't gonna have that many workers because they might need someone else to step up work because we have the oldest generation. People are not having children here. So if people are building there at an alarming high rate, when I say that's where you should go, I didn't say that's where you should go and stay. I said that's where you should go and invest some of your resources. Get a piece of that pie because there's people that are not your skin color getting a piece of that pie.
Facts.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like
the benefit of being an American. You have a home anywhere. You can go anywhere in this country as an American. They're going to accept you.
Listen, Charles, we built up America. Why couldn't we go to Africa if we had the resources properly and build that bitch up, man, and make it 10 times better? Look what we did with this fucked up ass country.
Because Africans have this type of hate for us.
Bro, you focus on the negative so much. Why do we do that, bro?
What they want you to think that is the fact that when he sounds, he can back show.
I know, but so what? Just don't focus on them.
Talking this shit out like that's what they want you to think.
No, look, Africans want to come to America.
Nobody's gonna know your point if we don't go one at a time. God damn it!
Don't go
So Africans want to come to America. Like they are dying to come here. They want to take your place.
We love the TikTok shop.
So I know this firsthand that if Africans had the ability and had the currency that we have here, they only come here for the money and to take it and build resources there. That's the only reason why they come here. They don't come here to stay. They come here to make money and they're going to go back to their country because really their country is better. They have better resources. They have better water. They have better food. Their children are smarter and they can read and they're more developed. And other
That's not true.
Y'all think development means we have a big house.
Yeah, I disagree.
That's not true.
Listen, I'm gonna put y'all with this before I step away. Y'all with this before I step away right here.
They're illegally.
Listen. Trust me, Chase. 1 second. Let me tell you something. Let me explain something to you. This is the difference in our opinion, right? It's different when they take those resources over there to that country because they're from there. They're already embedded over there. They already have roots over there. And they don't need to have spies to go over there. Not spies, actual, but people that's migrating over there to see how it works. They already know. So when they take the resources, they have the means to do what they know they need to do. We are fish out of water over there. We going over there trying to start over when we got roots here. We know what we need to do here. It's just hard for us to do it right now. And we got people running away from the responsibility that we need to face up to. It's not people not knowing what to do. It's people scared of doing what's needed to be done.
And that one's good. Daniel.
That's some facts. Now I got to step away for like 5 minutes. Perez and Eel. It's sunny.
Well, I think first of all,
Yeah, like the ones that are coming over here sending money back, most of them are illegals. Like they come over here using the system, sending it's stealing resources and then giving it back to their country.
It's not true.
But the ones
arguments with the majority of us, yes. The majority of us, yes. But what I'm saying is this. If we put together the mindset that we already know we have, like Tulsa, Oklahoma, the military that we already know we can put together, like the Nation of Islam or the Black Panther Party, and we exhibit guerrilla warfare, it might be a reason.
Want to be annihilated just like they annihilated
And that's my point. That's the point, Trail. We gonna be annihilated, but we gonna keep growing as long as we teach that method. Somebody gotta unalive. I've been saying that.
No, they don't, nigga. No, they don't. We don't. Bro, do you know any? Give me the name of one black person that you know with one single drone, bro. Just tell me one, and I'm with you. That has a drone. Just name one black person that got a drone that can strike people. That can strike people.
The U.S. is so terrible. We're fucked up. I hate the U.S. But you're still living here. You still haven't made one attempted move out this motherfucker yet. Nothing. So why stay if it's so messed up?
You know what I mean? Anyways, I don't hate the U.S. I just take everything as face.
You're gonna be eating dirt in Africa. Trust me.
Bro, why do you hate Africa so much, nigga? What's wrong with Africa, bro? It's like you got a problem with Africa or something.
I can make jollof over here.
I
know Africans begging me to come here.
Bro, you listen, bro. Bro, quit that, bro. Quit that, bro.
Africans right now will pay for a marriage license.
Yeah.
He's from Nigeria.
So just because they are lesser off, you gonna fucking sit here and talk shit about them, nigga? What's wrong with you?
I'm not talking shit. One at a time, bro. One at a time.
We ain't gonna act like they don't eat that jollof with their fingers, bro. I don't know.
Hey, this for the record, fufu comes from South America. Just so y'all know that.
Nobody cares.
Can you talk for a second?
Well, he gotta say his age. You gotta say his age and race. Sorry.
Go ahead, babe.
34 black. Okay, let's get it. Okay, so have you been down? No, I have family that has been to Africa. But you haven't been down. No, I haven't. Okay, so which part of Africa did your family go to? Couple parts. Johannesburg in specific.
Alexander Walker on
Okay,
the way.
what other parts?
Back to Clark.
I'm trying to figure out what's this relating to the conversation. So I told you one part. Now you want another part. Which one here? Nigeria?
I'm just trying to figure out your understanding of Africa because I'm hearing you guys criticize.
You can look up Sheriff Hensley of Charlotte, Mecklenburg, North Carolina Sheriff Department. That's my uncle right there. He owns a few properties over in Africa. So I mean, it's Googleable. It's easy.
You don't criticize the Africa. I'm just saying.
What I'm gonna tell you is, let me make it.
Hold on, Rich, real quick. Let's get
What I'm gonna tell you is, if you want to know what real freedom feels like for a black man or a black woman, go to Africa.
Then move to Africa then. That's what I'm saying. The U.S. is terrible.
Hold on. All I'm saying is this, right? When I get to Africa, and hell, maybe even when a million of us else come to Africa, and the government over here starts to realize what's happening to the numbers that keep their government running, and they started to go Hail Mary just to keep us from going over there, that's when that warfare steps into play. So when we think about that warfare, which has always been known to happen from this government, who got the stronger powers? Who got the stronger campaign when it comes to that?
On the wing, Daniel.
Me.
So I'm gonna tell you who got the stronger campaign.
Minnesota's
It's the only country. It's the only country that consider themselves developing.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell you why. Africa controls all the resources that the world needs for literally everything. And no superpower will let superpower fully take over Africa. That's the control those resources.
can tell he
With certain government, yes, they do. It depends on.
No, I'm saying how.
They've been struggling here.
The people who have the equipment control,
spell for sure.
Alexander Walker.
which the Africans don't have. Like, the Africans don't know how to use power tools. They don't know how to use none of that stuff.
What the fuck? Yes, they do.
don't know what they're talking
Is this
about.
man?
Bro, are you drunk?
A whole bunch of ultra-legendaries.
They wouldn't be in the position they're in without his contribution.
Everybody, 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm just muting y'all just for the conversation.
Like, there's no need to be disrespectful.
But what I'm saying is this.
Right. This shit is so one-sided. It's crazy.
I haven't been talking that much.
Listen, look.
There's no need for fucking name calling this shit.
But we can call Africans, we can say they don't know how to use power drills.
Look, all I'm saying is this. How do they control those things?
Here in the NBA, coach, retired
What's keeping America from taking it?
What's your assessment?
What's keeping America from taking it? I'm gonna tell you what's keeping America from taking it. Russia, China, Turkey, European Union. That's what's keeping America from taking it.
Most threes in a game.
We already control most of North Africa.
You know Russia is fighting.
Threes keep dropping in.
Y'all control most of North Africa.
America controls most of North Africa since 1941. What?
No. First of all, that's a lie.
That was a lie.
And even if because it's a lie. What are you talking about?
How is it a lie?
What happened? Control North Africa.
Hey, bro, I'm West African, bro.
What happened in North Africa in the 1940s?
In the 1940s? You mean during World War II?
What happened?
By Daniels.
The Germans tried to take over North Africa, and they got their ass whooped. That's what happened.
And it's Curry
by the Allies.
Bringing it up for the
and
no,
Allies.
Don't act like
by the Russians, the French, the British, United States, the North Africa, and the West Side. It was a unified.
The United States like it wasn't the most important part of that. It wasn't the United States joined in. The United States and Britain joined in. If the table started turning, what are you talking about? This is history.
Bro, listen, bro. Who won World War II? Marched into Germany first.
Davis is checked in for Green. Kevon Looney
That's a lie.
comes in for Peyton.
We did.
Fields checked in for
We marched into Germany with Blitzenberg. How are you saying that's a lie? We stole Blitzenberg. How are you saying that's
now for Minnesota?
Bro, the Russians.
It's an obvious difference, right? It's an obvious difference between the mindsets, and I understand that.
Bro,
your mindset compared to my
Russia went into Germany and didn't do nothing. What did they do?
Your mindset compared to my mindset is different because your grandfather wasn't here.
Bro,
your grandfather didn't go.
The Russians went into Germany and did nothing. How did they get into Germany if they did nothing? They just walked in, they didn't fight?
Listen,
they do.
The American government keeps everybody on their toes. North Korea can't even fuck with the American government.